The clash of swords rang in my ears as I sidestepped and turned, slashing at my attacker, slicing him across his arm, and kicking him sharply in the stomach. He doubled over and shouted to his companions, rough, armed men who had been following us all day. "Behind you!" Tristan barked, taking on 3 others. I spun and ducked just in time to avoid another sword that came swinging toward my head. Sweat ran down my brow and between my breasts, and strands of loose hair stuck to my neck and face as I twirled swiftly, holding up my sword and bracing my legs. My arms shuddered as the mercenary's broadsword connected with Dawn. The smooth, polished metal of my dwarven-made sword shimmered as the burnished gold rays of the setting sun illuminated the rubies on the hilt, which glistened like the glowing embers of a fire. Using my fey strength, I pushed my attacker away and tightened my grip on my sword. "I thought I told you to go back to Elfie, Aurora," Tristan growled as he knocked out one man with the hilt of his sword. "Why are you following me?" "I'm not following you," I lied, adjusting my stance and eyeing my attacker. "I'm just trying to find the book, like you are." I let my fey senses take over just as the man lunged for me. Blood roaring in my ears, I twisted the weapon in my hands deftly, disarming him. Neither Tristan nor I wanted to use our fey magic for fear of giving away our location. These were simple mercenaries, soldiers without magic. They were more of an irritation than a threat to us. We had been careful, keeping our identities glamoured while we scoured Brandor for Andromeda and the book. The Grand Duchess of the Day Court had disappeared from Elfie after the Battle of Abraxas. She had betrayed the Fae and allied with Morgana in the hope that Morgana would make her queen of Elfie. But when her plan to take over Elfie failed, Andromeda took the book and ran. It was now her only leverage with Morgana. For now, we had been lucky. We hadn't come across any Drakkar yet. They seemed to be regrouping since their defeat at the Battle of Abraxas. But I knew they would be back. Morgana would not give up so easily. I was all that stood between her and absolute power over the 7 kingdoms of Avalonia, and she had no intention of letting me live past my 18th birthday. "I don't need you here," said Tristan, standing over 2 of our attackers as they bled on the ground. The others had fled. "I can track Andromeda on my own. You should leave this city." "I can't go back, Tristan. I need your help. It is the only way to make things right." I pointed my sword at my attacker's chin. "Where is she?" The mercenary held up his hands, fear showing in his dull brown eyes. "Who?" "The one who sent you to kill us," I said plainly. Shaking his head, the mercenary said, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I met a man. He gave us your portrait. They promised us a fortune for your head." "Who paid you?" growled Tristan. "I can't. They'll kill me." "And you think he won't?" I glanced at Tristan, who stood almost a foot taller than me, looking as menacing as ever. Tristan and I had taken to wearing the traditional clothes of the Brandorians, loose billowing pants, a soft white muslin shirt under a short leather tunic, a turban wrapped around the head, and high brown boots. I had decided that dressing as a man was far easier and allowed me to move more inconspicuously. But somehow these mercenaries had managed to find out who we were. They had to be silenced, or Morgana would send more than just lowly soldiers my way. I touched my sword to the mercenary's neck, just enough to draw a little blood. "Tell me who paid you, and I will let you go." The man looked around, eyes darting back and forth like a trapped animal. But the street was darkening, and no one interfered. "It was—" His words were cut short, as his eyes nearly popped out of their sockets, and he went still, his mouth open in a silent scream. He fell forward at my feet, an arrow protruding from his back. Tristan bent down and pulled out the arrow. "Ash," he said, inspecting it more closely. Then, just as quickly, he dropped it and stood up. "The tip is made of blackened iron." My eyes betrayed my horror. "How do they have arrows made of blackened iron?" "I don't know." Tristan's voice was tense as he grabbed my hand and scanned our surroundings. "Morgana has obviously been keeping busy, arming her soldiers with magical weapons. These arrows were meant for us. We need to get out of here. Now."